So, today we have a First Holy Communion. This is, as I say, very unusual for us here. We're absolutely delighted. Do you know what's happening? Do you know what's about to happen today, girls? You do. You have a fairly good idea. You're all dressed up. What's it all about? What's it all for? You can actually answer. What are you receiving today? Jesus. Very good answer. So today you receive your First Holy Communion. And here's a hard question for you. When will you be receiving your Second Holy Communion? If today is your First Holy Communion, when is your Second Holy Communion? Tomorrow is, what day is tomorrow? Sunday, yes. Exactly. And when is your Third Holy Communion? The Sunday after that. Exactly, right. So receiving our First Holy Communion is very, very special, right? But it's the beginning of something. The First Holy Communion, there's an awful lot of, obviously the dresses and the time and maybe the meal afterwards and the family coming together and all the wonderful things for the First Holy Communion. But what's very, very special is this is the beginning of something. It's not kind of the end of something. It's not like, it's kind of like marriage. Yes, there's a great celebration on that day. But this is the beginning of a life together. This is the beginning of us showing our mutual love for each other until death does us part. Right? So today is the beginning of something. It's the beginning of something very, very special. You get to receive Jesus. You get to carry Jesus, right? Before I became a priest, so when I was in the stage before you were a priest, you're called a deacon. So when I was a deacon, I got to serve Mass in St. Peter's, right, in Rome, in the Vatican. Have you heard of it? Yeah, where the Pope lives. Yeah, so it was Pope Benedict at the time. So I was a deacon. And the basilica was full of, thousands and thousands of people. And I was one of the deacons there, so there were just two of us there. Two deacons serving the Pope. And I had to give the Pope the monstrance. So the monstrance is the spiky gold thing that we put Jesus into for adoration, right? But the Vatican's one is kind of small and it's really, really spiky. So I had to pick it up and walk really solemnly, and all I was thinking was, don't cut the Pope, don't cut the Pope, don't cut the Pope. I had to give it to him. I had to place it into his hands and without him kind of cutting himself on the spikes, So don't cut the Pope, don't. And I was walking really, really solemnly, really, really carefully, right? But maybe what was more important than just not cutting the Pope? What the most important thing was I was carrying Jesus. That's what was so special. I got to carry Jesus. But then when you think about it, every time we receive Holy Communion, we carry Jesus, don't we? Every time we receive Holy Communion, we carry Jesus. Have you ever heard of Saint Christopher? No? Saint Christopher. Apparently he's not a saint anymore, but a long story. Saint Christopher, the legend has it that Saint Christopher was a big guy, big, tall man, and he used to help smaller people and children and maybe older people cross the river. So he'd pop them up on his shoulders and he'd carry them across the river, right? And on one particular occasion, he was tired. It was a long day carrying people over and back. And so he sees this small child. So he picks up the small, who wants to cross the river. So he picks up the child, he starts walking. And this child, my goodness, just starts to get heavier and heavier and heavier and heavier. Now he was doing all of this work, carrying people over and back, out of love, just to help people, So he was carrying this little child and saying, my goodness, what did you have for breakfast? Right, getting weighed down. And then he says to him, who are you, says he to the child, this is something strange, something very odd going on. And the child responds, I am the child Jesus, and you're carrying the weight of the world. Right, so Jesus reminding him that I'm God, Jesus is God, and that he carries the world, So when we carry Jesus, we have a great responsibility. Can you imagine? Imagine if I gave you, have you ever seen the crown jewels? Have you ever seen the Queen's big helmet type thing? Yeah, big crown jewel. Have you ever seen it? In real life? Probably not in real life. Have you seen it on movies or TV or anything? Yeah, okay, very good. So imagine if I gave that to you and you had to carry that through New Inn or carry it in Clonmel, right? Down. Imagine how careful you'd be. You wouldn't be kind of looking around going, right? You'd be carrying it with such care. Don't drop the crown jewels. Okay? So when we receive Jesus, we receive Jesus into our hearts, and that's actually a responsibility. It's not just a kind of a free gift and then on you get with your life. We carry Jesus in our hearts, so now we have to we have to act. We have to act accordingly. Right? If I carry the crown jewels, I'm not just kind of having the crack of the boys. Do you know? No, you're carrying, you're being very careful and reverent. When we carry Jesus, we must be so careful and so reverent. So the priest who read the gospel, his name is Father Tim, my friend over here. So Father Tim, as you probably guessed from his wonderful accent, is from England, and he studied in the seminary in my hometown in Thurles. So when I was a little boy, your age, Father Tim, before he was father, used to come to our house for tea and apple tart. And so I was only a little nipper. And Father Tim then got ordained and went off to Zimbabwe, which is in Africa. And he did this, why? Because he wants to carry Jesus. He wants to carry Jesus to the people out there, to the people who don't know him. All right? So when we receive Jesus, we actually have this kind of responsibility then to carry him out into the world. Okay? So you're only, how old are you? How old are ye? 8 and 8, both 8. You have this great responsibility for an 8-year-old. Okay? In your little pure heart, you can carry Jesus. And that's going to begin today. Okay? So all of us here in the chapel, we're all going to be praying for you as well, Rose and Maria, for both of you, that when you carry Jesus, that you'll be carrying him like St. Joseph, carrying him like Our Lady, carrying him like St. Christopher, that we'll carry Jesus in our hearts and carry him out into the world. Amen.